So let me get this straight. God created my soul, and then he sent my soul down to earth in this body. Then he created another soul, and then sent that soul down to earth in a body so that that soul can come and tell my soul about him and win my soul for him. Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly, my sister. That math ain't mathing. And on so many levels, that math is just not mathing at all. So supposedly, this God created human beings because he wanted a perfect creature, a perfect being, so called with free will, to be able to love him and choose him, although we don't have much of a choice, either choose him or go into hell. So, not much of a choice of free will. But his desire, according to Christians and according to the belief of this Bible, his desire is that he created us in order to be in heaven with us, to replace his first children, the angels who rebelled against him. That was the purpose of our creation, so that we can be there with him and love him by free choice. Although the angels had the same opportunity. But he saw that it was a failure. Now, this omnipresent, all-knowing God, knowing that it was going to be a failure, decided that after a certain period of time of man's existence, and I'm going to give him opportunities of judges and kings and prophets and all these different things that I know he's going to fail. Then at a certain time frame, I'm going to send myself as myself and then sacrifice myself to myself in order for man to be saved from the sin to which I allowed to be created and that I created and allowed for man to have partake on. Yet, that math is not mathing. This is one of the reasons why I could never, ever, ever, ever be Christian, because the math is simply not mathing. It makes no sense. If I am a all-loving, good God, I would never create a situation where the things that I created has the opportunity to fall short of being in my presence. That makes no sense. That's like saying that I want to go buy a car to make sure that car can get me to work, but I'm gonna go buy this car that does not have an engine. Now, a car that can't process gasoline or electricity, whichever product you want to use for your mode of transportation, let me go buy that. It makes no sense, right? This creation of your God makes no sense. And then on another level, I created this being. I sent this being to earth. There are certain messages that I want this being to receive from me. But instead of me contacting the being or making the being already with that information inside of them, what I'm going to do is send other beings down to earth so that they can minister to those beings that I could have given my ministry to in the very beginning. That makes no sense. Makes no sense. This is why when people used to come to me, God has told me to tell you. Nope, God didn't tell you shit. If God needed to tell me something, he could have told me himself. If he's not willing to tell me himself, then it's not worth being told. It is not worth being told if he can't tell me himself. How do I know what message you're getting? How do I know that this information is good? How do I know that where it comes from? Because you said it. But this is people's take on the Bible. Well, eyewitnesses saw this. God came to Moses and said that. No one who was there wrote any of it. And yet you expect me to take that person's account of it? That's the same way as the person, if they walked up to me right now and said, God told me that you're not supposed to move. So all that furniture and stuff you gave away today, this going away event that you're getting ready to have in about an hour, you're not supposed to do it. You're supposed to stay here in this house. God wanted that to be, he would have came and told me himself. Well, there were signs. There were signs that let you know. There were signs that let you know. And y'all swearing down that there are signs. Oh, I knew I shouldn't have moved here because then it was struck. I moved to Panama City, then it was struck by a tornado. That was a sign from God that I should have never moved here. No, that's how nature works. Consistently and constantly. Had nothing to do with you moving there. The tornado would have hit Panama City regardless if you moved there or not. But that's what people do. And you telling me that that was your God's design? That's his plan? That's his plan? That's a faulty plan. Why, as a parent, do I arm my children with financial information before they get to the level of having to deal with their finances? Why do I arm my children with sexual information before they get to the level of dealing with sexual opportunities? Why do I arm my children with safety protocols before they get to a point where they need to implement those safety protocols? Why do I arm them prior to them getting to whatever stage of life to which they need to be in, and make sure that they are fully armed and equipped? Because that is the duty of a good father and mother. That's what you do. But your God said, I'm going to let billions and trillions of people live and die and never let them know that I exist. Let them manifest and create their own gods. And then I'm going to send missionaries to try to convince them otherwise. Missionaries aren't working? Matter of fact, let me just go and conquer their ass. Let me send people there with guns. Let me send people there with blades. Let me send people there with higher technology and make sure that those people conquer them and force them into this religion so that they can then love me. Maybe not the first generation, because they know how they got converted. Maybe even not the second generation, because they can still know from their parents. Maybe even the third may hear it from their grandparents. But by the time we get to the fourth generation, then they'll love me because they've been trained through brutality to love me. That's your God's plan. The math ain't mathing, and you can't make it make sense. So y'all have a great day. And remember always that you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration.